Over the course of the last few years, I've bought and sold countless items of camera gear. Some of these items are totally worth it and I use all the time, and some of them not so much. In this video, I'm gonna show you guys the first 10 items that I would buy if I was starting from scratch today. One of the first things that I would buy if I already had a decent camera is a good microphone. The microphones that I've been using are the Rode Wireless Go 2 microphones. They're compact, wireless, and they sound pretty good for the price. I'm using the Rode Wireless mic right now, so this is the type of audio that you can expect to achieve with these microphones. For a cheaper on-camera solution, the Rode Video Micro is a solid choice. It's great for vlogging, but for these types of videos, an on-camera microphone is just too far away to get clear audio. You would need to boom it out on a boom arm to get it closer to your face. This is kind of an obvious one, but you'll realize pretty quickly that you need lots of batteries and lots of SD cards just to make sure that you're never in a situation where you can't shoot because you're out of batteries or you're out of space on your memory cards. It's something that's pretty easy to overlook, but once it happens to you once, it'll never happen to you again. You can buy one of these 2 battery packs with a charger for pretty much any camera make and model out there from Amazon for pretty cheap. For SD cards, I recommend sticking with known trusted brands like ProGrade and SanDisk. And if you're shooting 4K video, I'd go with a V60 card or higher. This isn't the most exciting piece of equipment, but it's something that you're gonna need to have in your kit, especially if you're shooting videos. The tripod that I'm currently using is the Manfrotto Element tripod. I'll link it in the description below. K&F Concept also makes a pretty cheap alternate tripod that you can get on Amazon, and I'll link that in the description as well. Well, the kit lens that comes with your camera is fine if you're just starting out. You'll notice a huge increase in quality if you upgrade your lens. I've been using this Sigma 24-70 f2.8 Art Series lens for a year and a half now, and it's been my go-to lens since I got it, being on my camera probably 95% of the time. I usually shoot these videos that you're watching right now using this lens, and I usually shoot at around 35 millimeters. Keep in mind that this is a full frame lens, so if you're shooting on an APS-C camera, you'd be looking at somewhere in the range of an 18 to 50 millimeter equivalent. Personally, for what I shoot, I find that 24 millimeters is typically wide enough for what I'm shooting, and 70 millimeters is typically telephoto enough for what I'm shooting. The autofocus is really fast, it's extremely sharp for both photo and videos. It has the additional features you would expect out of a more premium lens, like a programmable button, weather sealing, and it's built extremely well and solid. It's definitely not a light lens though, so if you do something like vlogging a lot, then you might look to a lighter and a wider lens, such as the Tamron 17 to 28 millimeter lens, which is actually another lens that I own. Anyway, I highly recommend getting this sort of focal range lens, a 24-70 or a 18-50 if you're shooting on APS-C, as it's just a really great all-in-one lens. When you're just starting out, don't get me wrong, you can definitely get away with using a cheaper light. In fact, I've actually recommended a cheaper light such as the Mount Dog softbox light, which you can get on Amazon for under $100. However, as lighting is arguably the most important piece of gear in your kit, I'd recommend buying a better light right off the bat. I ended up going with a GVM LED light, and it's currently being used to light this video. The light comes with a pretty solid light stand, and it also comes with a lantern light modifier, which is totally fine, but I've opted to actually swap this out for a softbox from SmallRig. The light's brightness and color temperature can both be adjusted right on the back of the light. If you're looking to add some additional style to your videos, then I would definitely recommend picking up a tube light. I currently have 2 different ones, and you can usually see at least one of them in the background of my videos. I'll link the 2 that I'm using down in the description below. One of them is a little cheaper than the other one, and it's totally fine, but you can definitely tell that it's not as well built. It feels a little more plasticky, whereas the Godox one feels solid and it just feels better made. If you're not gonna be transporting it around to different photo shoots or different shoot locations, then it wouldn't really matter because it's just gonna be sitting in your house anyway. But if you're gonna be taking it around in your bag a lot, then I'd probably opt for the Godox one because it's just better made. You'll notice pretty quickly that shooting photos and shooting videos is a pretty expensive hobby. And if you're gonna be pulling out your wallet a lot, you better make sure that your wallet looks dope. This isn't a sponsor, I just really love this wallet. It's the Misk Goods Co. Chestnut Slim Tuck Wallet, and I'll link it down in the description below. I swapped it about a year ago from a big wallet that I was using for many, many years because I wanted something slim that just held my cards in it, because realistically, that's all that I ever use. You can already start to see some really sweet patina showing up from just the natural wear and tear of the leather, which I love. Anyway, I highly recommend it if you're in the market for a wallet or you want to get rid of your big wallet and go with something a little slimmer. This is the one that I would recommend. All right, this is something that I picked up recently and I'm really happy that I did. It's a SanDisk 1 terabyte external SSD hard drive, and it's just so slim and sleek. I use bigger external hard drives at home to store like a large amount of footage and photos on, but they're just so slow. If you want something that you're gonna be able to take on vacation or you're gonna be able to edit right off the SSD or right off the hard drive, then this is definitely the hard drive that you're gonna wanna buy. They're obviously a lot more expensive than a typical external hard drive, but what you're paying for is the speed. And in my opinion, it's totally worth it. If you're a filmmaker or a photographer, or you do anything related to any of those things, then it's something that you need to have in your kit. This is another item that I picked up recently, and it's something that I probably should have picked up a lot sooner, and that is a C-stand. It's nothing fancy, but it's just so versatile. You can use it to shoot top-down shots like this, so you don't need to do something weird like this. It's just one of those things that you should have in your kit because it gives you more options for shot types and different setups that you wouldn't otherwise have. This last one is a necessity for shooting outdoors especially, and it's an ND filter. This is a JJC variable ND filter, and it's really great value and pretty cheap compared to some of the other filters out there. If you're shooting outside, like for example, if you're a vlogger and you want to make sure that your shutter speed is twice your frame rate, which is typically what you want to do, then you're going to need to use an ND filter to control the exposure. You'll also need this if you're into photography and you want to do long exposure shots of rivers and flowing water and stuff like that. Anyway, something that you should have in your kit at some point, and depending on what type of content you shoot, it might be one of the first things that you want to buy. All right, that's it. I hope that you guys got value out of this video. If you did and you want to keep seeing content like this, then be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my next video. And I will see you in the next one.